The House That Remembers. I arrived at Joseph Mallory's house just after midnight. The cab driver wouldn't go any closer than a block away. "Bad place," he muttered before speeding off. The house was exactly how I imagined. A decaying Victorian-style home, forgotten at the edge of the city. Windows shattered, some boarded up, front porch sagging, wood splintered, yard completely overgrown, weeds as tall as my knees. Front door slightly ajar, as if inviting me in. According to police reports, the house had been abandoned since 2021 when Joseph disappeared. The entire Mallory family had vanished. Wife, 2 kids, all gone overnight. The police sealed off the house, marking it as a crime scene, but the police tape was missing. Someone had been here recently. I reached for my flashlight and stepped inside. Inside the house. The air was thick, stagnant, heavy, like a library that hadn't been opened in years. As my flashlight beam cut through the dust, I took in my surroundings. Books, everywhere. Stacked on every surface, some open, some sealed shut with thick twine. Newspapers covering the windows as if someone was trying to keep something out. Handwritten notes scattered across the floor. I picked up one of the notes. "They move when you aren't looking." Another. "The last book is not a book." A third. "Once you read, you can't unread." I took a slow breath, then I heard it, a rustling noise, coming from downstairs. The basement. I found the basement door at the back of the house. It was partially open, revealing a staircase leading into total darkness. The air smelled wrong, like wet paper and something decaying. I hesitated. Then I heard it again, a soft, whispering sound, barely audible. I took a deep breath and stepped inside. The basement was exactly like in the police reports. Walls covered in frantic writing, pages taped up in a chaotic mural of paranoia, hundreds of open books stacked in messy piles. In the center of the room, a single blank book left open on the ground. I reached down to pick it up. The second I touched it, my flashlight flickered, and the whispers got louder. I spun around. No one was there. But then I saw it. The writing on the walls. It was changing. New words were appearing, scrawling themselves into existence right in front of me. A single phrase repeated over and over. "He's here." My blood turned to ice, and then I heard it. Footsteps. Upstairs. Journal entry. Someone or something was moving through the house. The footsteps were slow, deliberate. Whoever it was, they weren't in a hurry. I pressed myself against the basement wall, heart pounding. Then, a shadow passed by the basement door. Tall, motionless, watching. I didn't dare breathe. Then, the basement door creaked open wider, and I saw him. A man in a black coat, the same man from Ethan's apartment, but this time I could see his face. Or rather, I couldn't. Because there was nothing there, just a void, an empty space where a face should be. Then he spoke. His voice was wrong, like a recording played in reverse. "Your score 6. I ran." I don't remember how I got back to my hotel. One moment I was in the basement. The next, I was in my car, speeding away. I checked my phone. No calls, no messages, no proof that any of this happened. Except for one thing. The blank book from the basement. It was in my bag. I swear I didn't take it, but it was there. And this morning when I opened it, there were words inside. Words I didn't write. Like, "They know what you're doing. They know you won't stop. Your score 7. I should walk away. I should burn this book and forget everything. But I can't, because now I have to know, what happens when you reach 15? Why did Joseph Mallory say, "The last book is not a book"? And most importantly, who is keeping score? I spent the entire night researching. Here's what I found. There are mentions of the last book in multiple historical sources. In 1923, a librarian named Alfred Winslow claimed to have seen a book that rewrites itself when left alone. In 1957, an entire university archive in Austria was sealed off after anomalous texts were found inside. In 1999, a hacker named Owen Velasquez claimed he had found a digital version of the last book in the deep web. He disappeared 3 weeks later. The last known person to reach score 15 was a philosophy professor in 2004. Her name was Dr. Lillian Moreau. She studied forgotten texts in secret libraries. She vanished after sending one final email to a colleague. The email only contained one sentence. "You were right. The last book is not a book." Date my decision. I'm going to read it. The book from the basement. It's sitting on my desk right now. I just opened it. There's only one sentence inside, and I don't understand what it means, but something tells me I shouldn't be reading it out loud. The reader is also being read. I think something is watching me.